Good day, students. Now is to welcome you back to school again. You're welcome back to 2018 examination-based content class for Computer Literacy 2. Congratulations for those of you who passed your Computer Literacy 1 either last year or April this year. Now, I have made a presentation that will guide you on your examination, Computer Literacy 2. This presentation is for Diploma in Junior Primary Education, DJPE 2. That is Computer Literacy 2, DJPE Cl12. And Diploma in Secondary Education, DSE Cl21. Basically, this is Computer Literacy 2 specifically. What should you expect? As I said in my introduction, this is Computer Literacy 2 examination-based content class. This presentation covers April, August, and November examination. We no longer have different presentations for different examinations. Now we have one presentation to guide you. So whether you're going to write April, you're going to write in August, you're going to write in November, this presentation is for you. Computer Literacy 2. Sit back and relax and listen while I take you the journey of what to expect and how to approach your Computer Literacy 2 examination. I have seen your assignment. Well done. Most of you did very well. Excellent work that I saw in your assignment. Now is the time to examine you, to test your competencies of what you have done for me in your assignment. But before I proceed, here is a warning for all of you. This presentation is not a scope. Why do I say this all the time? Because student calls after the examination, Mr. Edu, but that question 2, that question 3 was not in your presentation. Presentation is not a question paper. Presentation is to guide you, not to give you questions. That is why I stated it clearly, bold, in capital letter, so that you can know that this is not a question paper preview. The examination format, you will be required to answer all the questions that will be given to you, whether it is April, August, or November examination. As usual, it is necessary, it's good for you to know how to answer questions. The examination covers the entire module, Computer Literacy 2. The questions are selected from all the units in that module. We don't select questions from one unit. So if you study only one unit, or you prepare for the examination using only one unit, probably the only unit you understand, you're going to have problem when it comes to the examination. Therefore, study all the units in that module. The examination format. How would the question look like? Student call at times and ask, Mr. Edu, listen, are we going to do practicals in the examination? No. You're not going to do practicals in the examination. But I am going to test your practical knowledge. What I mean is this. In your assignment, I give you practical work. I give you PowerPoint presentation in your assignment. In your assignment, you work on PowerPoint, you work on Microsoft Excel in your assignment. So I'm going to examine those practical experiences that you got during the assignment. Now, in the examination, the very first question you are going to see is going to be multiple choice. 10 multiple choice questions. 10 multiple choice questions. Now, those multiple choice questions, they are selected across all the units in the model. They have 4 options. Circle or underline the correct option. In case you change your mind, delete, cancel, erase the previous one. If you give me 2 answers, I give you 0 for it, because it becomes invalid. Don't be nervous, don't be worried, don't be afraid. Come on, man. Don't say, hey, computer literacy is difficult. No. It's so easy as eating kapana. No. Okay. Apart from that question, multiple choice question in question 1, what else are you going to see in your examination? The next question will ask you to define, to explain certain computer words, certain computer terms. You will be asked to explain, to define words, terms such as phishing, homepage, IP address, freeware, software, hardware, ISP, search engines. These are some of the terms we can ask you to explain. I repeat it again. These words that I mentioned here or that are written here are not the exact ones that I will ask you, but these are examples. Explain hardware, explain software, explain homepage, explain IP address. Do you know what it means to explain? That is why I always tell you, study those examination words such as discuss, explain, so that you know what to do at the right time. Are you happy? Please be happy, because I know this year you will pass. I'm not a prophet. I'm not prophesying for you, but I know because you did very well in your assignment, I know you will pass this year. Can somebody say amen to that? I only said, can somebody? Did I say all of you? Can everybody pass? Well, it is possible if everybody can study. All right. Apart from the explanation of those words, what further question or questions should you expect in terms of the format? There will be quite a lot of questions selected across all the units, asking you to discuss them, asking you to examine them, asking you to differentiate between various concepts. Do you know that you have these questions with you at home? The questions are already with you at home. But you say, Mr. Ido, how come the questions are with us at home? The examination questions, they are with you at home. Can I tell you where they are? Can I tell you where the questions are? Let me tell you where the questions are. Have you seen your study guide? Good. If you open your study guide, you know, in primary school, secondary school level, you call them lessons objectives. What are the objectives of this lesson? At the highest education, we always refer to them as expected learning outcome. That is, at the end of every unit, what are you expected to know? Those things that you are expected to know are the same thing I'm going to ask you. Can you see how easy it is to pass an examination? Let's take, for example, there is a unit that talks about computer virus. It's just an example. There is a unit that says computer virus as a topic. Now, the expected learning outcome says the students, at the end of this lesson, the students should be able to define computer virus. The students should be able to explain computer virus. The students should be able to list examples of computer virus. The student should be able to explain the sources. Where do we get computer viruses from? The student should be able to tell or to explain how to prevent computer from having viruses. Those are the things we are expected to know. Expected learning outcome. Now, in the examination, it is the same thing that I'm going to ask you to see if actually you have learned those things. So in the examination, I'm still going to ask you, what is a virus? I'm still going to ask you, where do we get virus? The same expected learning outcome, I'm going to examine you on. All what we do is to refresh them. Can you see why I said the questions are with you at home? Pick your study guide. Can you see the expected learning outcome? Can you answer confidently all the expected learning outcome questions? No tutor goes beyond the expected learning outcome. So, don't take for granted your study guide. You have the topic, you have the expected learning outcome listed. Now, the expected learning outcome, they are already discussed in the study guide. Read it. Go back to the expected learning outcome and see if actually you can answer those questions. In computer literacy 2, the very first unit you have there deals with Microsoft Excel. That is why in your computer literacy 2 assignment, the very first question I gave you is based on Microsoft Excel. Unfortunately, this is one area where student fails a lot. This is one area where students struggle a lot. And the reason is not far-fetched. Most time, some students, not all of you, I said some students don't do the assignments themselves. And when it comes to the examination, there's a problem. Computer literacy 2 must, and I repeat, it must have Microsoft Excel questions. It's a must. So if somebody have already told you this question is going to be there, then the problem is halfway solved. So Mr. Ido is telling you a question will come from Microsoft Excel. Let me give you an example of a question of Microsoft Excel. How to approach the question. In your assignment, you do the practical well for me. Now I'm going to ask you a question now. Take for an example. On your screen, can you see a spreadsheet? I took a screenshot of this of a Microsoft Excel. You see it like this. Atlantic Primary School, Windhoek. You have columns, you have rows, you have data in the cells. You see it like this in an examination. What type of questions do we normally ask when it comes to Microsoft Excel? Questions like this. There is a past question paper that I brought here to discuss with you. And besides, before I forget, all our past question examination papers, you can download the past question papers from the student portal of IOL. So for you to get yourself familiarized with how our questions look like. They always say in Africa, proverb, that a sickness that you know already is half treated, because you know what is wrong with you already. So you know what to apply. It's different from you don't know what is wrong with you. So if you know the type of questions we ask, then your problem is 50% solved. Now let's just look at some of the questions that always go with Microsoft Excel. For example, a question says here, name one type of formatting done on the above spreadsheet. Now, when you talk about formatting a spreadsheet or an Excel, it simply means things that have been added to it that makes it looks different from the way it should have done. For example, here Some of the formatting that I have done here is, number one, currency is added. Meaning if I don't format it with this currency, it will not be there automatically, which means I added it. What type of formatting has been done here? If you look at the numbers, that is the values, they are in 2 decimal places. When you look at the cost per item, they are having 2 decimal places. Those are some of the formatting that you can talk about. And if you look at the heading, Atlantic Primary School, Windhoek, is bold, it's in capital letter. That is another type of formatting that I've done. So when you see a question that says, what type of formatting has been done here? What are those special features that have been added to the document that otherwise will not be there unless I added them, unless I used them? Let's look at another question, which is always there. How many columns are used in this spreadsheet? How many columns? How do you count your columns? Listen, beloved students. Stop playing with your phone. Listen to me. Please keep that phone you are playing with and listen to me. How many columns are used in this spreadsheet? Although if you look at it, it's 1 mark. But 1 mark, you will not know the value of 1 mark until you get 49 over 100. If you get 49 over 100, that is where you will know the value of 1 mark. You say, only 1 mark. How many columns are here? This is how you count your columns. Every column has an alphabet. If you look at column A, column B, column C, column D, column E, every column has an alphabet. So how many columns do I have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Simple. Just write 5 for me. So it worries me at times when students cannot tell me how many columns are there. But there is a common mistake made here. Some students count these as a column. I'm pointing to it now. Can you see? Can you see these numbers? This is not a column. Can you see where I'm pointing to now? This is not a column. Your columns start from where you have the A, B, C, D, and so on. In case, I repeat, in case the spreadsheet given to you does not show the column alphabet, something else that can help you here is this. Every column has a heading. Every column has a heading. For example, column A, can you see the heading? Column B, item. Column C, quantity. Column D, cost per item. Column E, total cost. So 2 things can help you here. It's either the column alphabet or the column heading. Not these 1, 2, 3. These are rule numbers. These are rule numbers. It's not because they have 1, 2, 3 here. No. If you look here, you can see 1, 2, 3. But it has a heading. It's under a column. So start counting from where you have A, B, C. Start counting from there. And I said, if the alphabet are perhaps covered, you could not see it properly, look at it that every column has a name. Next question. Name a cell that contain a label. Name a cell that contain a label. What are labels in Microsoft Excel? Labels are nothing but alphabets. Labels are alphabets. Basically, I'm only asking you to do what? To tell me to mention any cell that has a label, that has an alphabet. Let's go back to the spreadsheet. Can you look at B3? Here is an alphabet. B4, B5, B3, B6, B7, B8, B9, Anywhere there is an alphabet, it's a label. All these ones that are pointing to, they are all labeled. All you need to write for me is the name of the cell. But take note of this. Do not dump answers for me here. What do I mean by dumping an answer? A student can just write for you A1 to D5. I know that from A1 to D5, some of them are having alphabet, some of them are having numbers. Now you want me to mark it for you? No. Aye, kako. It means you are not sure. Because you gave me about 5 of them, 3 of them are correct, 2 are not correct. So I should pick the correct ones and throw away the incorrect one. You are confused, you are not sure. So you must be specific. If a question says, mention a cell that contains a label, be specific. Don't give me more than one. If you give me more, unless I ask for more than one. If I ask for more than one, fine. But if I ask only one, give me one, the one that I ask for. Don't give me more than what I ask for. Let's look at another type of question. A question can also say, tell us how many rows are here. For example, in this spreadsheet, how many rows do I have? 1, 2. See, the rows are the one having numbers here. Can you see? So I have 10 of them here. Can you see 10 of them? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Another type of question. The use of formulas. You cannot escape this. Just that the same way it happened in the Bible, Sodom and Gomorrah did not escape the judgment of God. You cannot escape Mr. Edo asking you about the use of formulas, because it's one of our expected learning outcomes in that unit. If you remember in your assignment, can you remember I told you to print out your formulas? Can you remember? Now you can remember. Why did I ask you to print out your formulas? I want you to know very well how to use formulas. Now, how do you use formulas? How do you answer questions when it comes to the formulas in Microsoft Excel examination question paper? Let's look at this question as an example here. It says, write down the formula used to obtain the value 60. Write down the formula used to obtain the value 60 in cell E4. Let's go back to the table. Can you identify cell E4 here? That's the first thing you should do. Cell E4. Cell E4 is in column E, then this is E4. E4. Now, which formula is here? For you to get the formula, you have to understand how this was done. We're talking about 60 here. And look at the column title, total cost. For me to get 60 here, what do you think was done? It was 12 multiplied by 5. That gave me this answer. 12 multiplied by 5, that gave me this answer. I want you to give me the formula, not the value. So don't write for me 12 multiplied by 5. No. Give me the name of the cells where those numbers are. So this is how I'm going to write it. To answer the question, I will say equal. Every formula starts with an equal sign. Every formula starts with an equal sign. Equal. Can you look at where this 12 is? This 12 is in cell C4. I will say C4 multiply. Please, this is our multiplication. By this 5. This 5 is in cell D4. Multiplied by D4. This is all you should write for me. That is the formula in cell E4. That's all I want to see. The next question, write down the formula used to obtain the value in cell E10. Go back first to E10 and see what is happening there. Let's go back to E10. Are you fine? Please calm down, relax. Don't be frozen. Don't be afraid. No, come on. Just sit down, relax. I will tell you how to go about it. Just relax your mind. Don't be afraid. Okay? Yeah, just relax. Now let's continue. Okay, cell E10. This is E10. Can you see where I'm pointing to? E10. Now the question is, what do you think has been done here at E10? E10, a common sense, which is not common at times, have told me that for me to get this, what do you think must have been done here? Can somebody tell me? What do you think must have been done to get this? Although I'm not able to hear you now, you can see that all these have been added together to get this. So you can see you are right. That's why I told you you are all brilliant students. All of you listening to me, you are brilliant students. Very brilliant student. The only thing you need to do is to do what? Study. It's just that some of you say, hey, Mr. Edo, I have a work. I'm going to school. I have children to look after. I have to cook for my husband. We understand. IOL understand. Just look at for just 1 hour a day to study. 1 hour every day, my dear, you will hammer A+. Let's go back to the question. The total. Anytime you are looking for total, we are going to use sum. So look at the way I'm going to write my answer. Remember, we added all these together. We added all these together to get this. From where? From E4 to E9. So this is how you're going to write. Anytime you're talking about adding together, say equal, sum, open a bracket, then you put the range. Remember the first one is in cell E4. E4 to where? Where do you have the last one? To E9. To E9. Sum E4 to E9. You can decide to write it like this. If you like, equals to, equal E4 plus E5 plus E6 plus E7 plus E8 plus E9. If you want to take it one by one, but this is a very long procedure, taking it one by one. That is E4 plus E5 plus E6. The problem here is that if you miss one, then everything is wrong. That's why I always prefer you use the function method. Sum, take the first one and the last one, from E4 to E9. Let me also make it very clear to you, when you refer to a cell, the alphabet comes first. You cannot say 4C. No. This is wrong. It should be C4. This is correct. Write the alphabet before the number. Again, when you write your answer, don't write it as a superscript or as a subscript. What do I mean? You cannot say C4 as a subscript. No, this is wrong. You cannot say C4 as a subscript rather, which is wrong. It must be written in front of it. It doesn't matter whether it is small letter or capital letter. It does not matter. Let's look at one other example. Write down a formula to display the item with the highest quantity. Whenever you talk about highest, use max. I want you to revise all the formulas, all the functions in your study guide. Please revise them. So these are common questions that we ask when it comes to Microsoft Excel. These very ones, you cannot escape them. Things like how many columns, how many rows, tell us a cell where there is a label, tell us a cell where there is a value, and a formula that can do this, a formula that can do this. You can only pass this if you practice. And as I said, a question must come from it. Still on Microsoft Excel, can you label your Microsoft Excel screen? The first thing in your study guide, the first unit is this. So I took it from there. In case you cannot see clearly what I have here, go back to your study guide. The unit that deals with Microsoft Excel, you will see how that is well labeled. Practice the names of each of these components, clearly written in your study guide. Let's look at another area of your study guide, which we are going to examine you on. That is PowerPoint. PowerPoint. Remember in your assignment, as section 2 was based on PowerPoint, you did very well. I'm so happy. You are good. I love you. Good girls, good student. You see, you did very well in your PowerPoint. Now, it's time for you to prove it to me in your examination that everything was really done by you. So if I ask you, for example, to state how to create PowerPoint, what are the basic steps that can be used to create PowerPoint? Will you be able to write it down? Then if you open your study guide, you will see about 2 to 3 pages that discusses common issues in PowerPoint and how to fix them. These things, please study them very well. How do you print a PowerPoint? Study that very well. I equally want you to pay attention to other things like the differences between a free world and a share world, the advantages of internet in our society, the advantages of internet in education, 2 different things, in our society as a whole and in education specifically. How do you evaluate internet resources? That is, if you get materials from the internet, how do you evaluate that what you got from the internet is actually true? You know, there was a day at Polytech, now the University of Science and Technology, when I marked something wrong for a student. But the student said, "Listen, Mr. Edu, I got this right." I said, "You are wrong." He said, "No, but I took it from the internet." Then I laughed. Then I told the student, "Do you think that everything you find on the internet is correct?" She said, "But it's from the internet." It does not matter that whatever you see on the internet is correct. It was posted there by someone. Just like your Facebook page. I can write anything and post it. It doesn't mean it's correct. That is the same way internet works. So this section of your module teaches you how to evaluate internet resources. That is, if I get materials from the internet, how do I know that what I'm getting from the internet is actually the correct one? Then again, read about computer viruses, where computer viruses come from, examples of computer viruses, how to prevent your computer from having viruses. This topic, almost every examination is there. And there is this common mistake, which is very common. Telling me viruses is something that makes the computer sick. This is not biology. This is computer literacy. Now, write down a very good definition, explanation about viruses. Types of research activities, examples of search engines. Now, when you come to how to send and receive email, that is another area of your module dealing with email. Have you ever sent an email before? Do you know how to compose an email and send? Now, what is the difference between replying to an email and forwarding an email? When can you forward an email? How do you forward an email? How do you reply to an email? If you're going to reply to an email, you have reply and reply all. Reply and reply all. Are they the same thing? If not, what differences exist between them? But email etiquette. How do you send an email with a document attached? Can you tell us the steps, the procedures of how to send an email and you attach a document to it? You must also practice how to send an email to a group of people at the same time. Maybe you want to send an email to 10 people at the same time. Do you also send the email one by one? Or can you send one email to 10, 20, 30 different people at the same time? How can you do it? Practice it. I might ask you, who knows? Is one of your learning expected outcome? That is that about email. Let us look at another unit in your study guide. Microsoft Publisher. Microsoft Publisher. You use Microsoft Publisher to design graphically. Use Microsoft Publisher to design graphically. Now, when working on Microsoft Publisher, when you design, at times you get pictures to use. Where do those pictures come from? Some of them can come from the internet. Some of them you can scan them. So, where can you get pictures from when working on Microsoft Publisher? Something else about password. How can you make your password very strong and secret? You know, some of you say you have a cell phone, you have a password. How can you keep this password secret from people? How can you create a strong password? What are the guidelines? What are the rules in creating a very good password in computer? On email, also pay attention to all these. Attachment, CC, what's the difference between CC and BCC, subject. Please practice all these things. You can never tell. What next? Just like Computer Literacy 1, that is divided into computer science, computer studies, and basic information science, known as library concepts. So, I'm going to examine you come April, August, and November. Few concepts about library. One thing that I'm going to examine you on is how to write a reference using APA. How to write a reference using APA format. If you're asked to write a reference using the APA format, how can you write such a reference? Here is an example. Let's say the title of the book is Married Again. I know those of you that always watch Z-Word, you know what I mean. This is not Z-Word. So don't let me ask you the title, Married Again, now. You start telling me a story about Z-Word. Let's say the book, there is a book. The title of the book is Married Again. Who wrote the book? Jennifer Brown. Who published the book? Z-Books. I didn't say Z-Word. Z-Books. Where was the book published? Windhoek. When was the book published? 2015. Now, as a student, you use that book in doing your assignment. How can you write a reference of that book? What is the format? The format, I've given you an example. First of all, write the surname of the person, write the initial, write the year the book was published, write the title of the book, write the place of publication, and write the publishing company or organization. You follow this format in writing a reference for a book. So if I give you a similar thing, you should be able to write it. So you have to practice it. If you don't practice it, what are the mistakes are you going to make? You are going to write the place of publication before or after the year of publication. Things will be mixed up. It must be in this order. Surname, the initial, the year of publication, the title, the place of publication, and the organization that published it. It must be in this given order. Otherwise, I mark you wrong. Another area that you should focus on is how to write a story based on a given picture. How to write a story based on a given picture. Here, students always make a mistake. And what is the mistake? Do not describe the picture. Do not describe the picture, but develop a short story based on the picture. I did not ask you to describe the picture. Hey, somebody is sitting under the tree. Somebody is sitting under the tree. I can see a car. I can see this. No, I did not say describe the picture. Write a story that tells me what is happening or what you think is happening from the picture. Give your story a title. Look at the picture and give it a title and start to develop your story. Here is an example. Look at the picture in front of you. How can you write a story based on this picture? Don't describe the picture for me. I repeat, do not describe the picture for me. I repeat, do not describe the picture for me. I'm talking from experience here when I mark examination scripts. Do not tell me somebody is singing, somebody is dancing, somebody is playing. Develop a story based on this picture. I have developed a very short story here based on this picture. Have you seen this picture? Good. Look at this story. I give it a title, The Beach Concepts. I gave it a title. Then I start my story. It was a beautiful day. You can start, your introduction is very necessary, name. Your introduction can arouse the interest of the examiner. You can use an exclamation for your introduction. You can use a proverb for your introduction. You can use an illustration for your introduction. So I started my story here. It was a beautiful day. The sun seemed a little brighter as the tourists were excited about the big sunburn concert that was to be held on the beach later that night. The waves were high, and so were the spirits. The DJ console was set up at the center of the shopping arena. Can you see? As usual, DJ Ra was supposed to be the jockey. Tonight gonna be a good night. I'm not singing here. So you see, I'm developing a story now based on the picture. What did I do? I look at the picture, I look what is happening there, then I formulate a story based on that. Your story should be very interesting with good points, good introduction, good development, good conclusion. So, take time to read my story here. It will help you. I will not be able to read the whole story here. It took me time to write it. And it's a quite interesting story. I developed this story based on the picture. Let me give you some hints on how to develop your story. Spend time. Don't spend the whole of your examination time. Your examination is 2 hours, remember? Spend time to observe what is happening. Don't jump to a conclusion. Have a clear vision of what is happening. Look at most individuals' characters in the situation. Observe what activities they are doing. What are the mood of these characters? What is their age like? What do you think is happening? What do you think they are doing? Write a very short story on that. Then you have your full marks. Be very careful of your spellings, because a spelling error can change the entire meaning of your story. Computer literacy 2 is going to be interesting. It's going to be easy. At the same time, you have to prepare for it. Follow all the guidelines and I have explained in this presentation. Read all the units in your module. Start to prepare now. Don't wait till the last minute. Call me from now. Write me email from now. Ask questions from now. Don't wait until 1 day, 2 days before the examination. Practice on the system. Go onto Iol YouTube channel. Download the videos. Watch them over and over. Download past question examination papers. See how the examination question papers look like. Practice them. Don't just read them. From when will you start? Today. Today. Tell your neighbor, I will start today. I will start today and I will pass my examination. I will pass with 100%. I will pass with 90. I will never score 40. Those are prayers, but God will answer those prayers if and only you work for it. Heaven help those who help themselves. If you have any further question and comment, please, you're free to get in touch with me. I will be there to answer you, to assist you in your examination. I wish you all the best in your examination. I wish you flying colors to come out victorious in examination. I love you all the best. Good luck.